We all remember how rough it was getting up for class when we were in high school. Over the years, there's been a lot of research showing that high school kids and middle school kids need a lot more sleep than they're getting. Well, here in the Edmond School District, they're looking to do something about that. There is a proposal to allow middle and high school students to start class later in the day, about 45 minutes later than they're currently starting. Now, in order to make up for that, that means that elementary school kids will be starting school about an hour and 20 minutes earlier in the day. Of course, elementary school parents aren't happy about that at all. They say in some cases that means kids would have to go to bed at 6:30 in the evening and wake up at 5:30 in the morning, essentially doing away with any sort of extracurricular after-school activities. The one good thing is there is plenty of time for the school board to make its decision. This plan is not expected to go in place until the 2027-2028 school year.
Well, we were on our way to a shoot for the King 5 investigators here in Seattle, but I wanted to tell you about an audit that I just read. This new report says there's a problem with a 15-year-old initiative here in Washington State. That landmark legislation is designed to make patients who receive care in their homes safer. And the initiative is doing that, says the report by the Office of Washington Auditor Pat McCarthy, but at a cost. The audit found 2/3 of applicants to the home care program do not complete training and certification. These are the aides who will work in people's homes, providing care, a demanding job that needs lots of applicants, but there's a lot of demand for that work. But the process is cumbersome. For instance, the FBI conducts a background check of an applicant. No problem there, of course. But for some reason, the Washington State Department of Health takes months to work to confirm that background check, which the audit says is redundant and saps the health department's manpower unnecessarily. In 2024, for example, 12,900 applicants failed to complete the training and certification process. The auditor's office makes several recommendations to streamline that certification process so that the program makes patients safe while keeping the program manageable.
Quick reminder, if you set off fireworks this weekend, don't just toss them in the trash. Fire officials say used fireworks can stay hot longer than you think and could start a fire if they're thrown away too soon. Here's what they recommend. First, soak used fireworks in a bucket of water for several hours or overnight. Then once they're completely soaked, place them in a plastic bag before putting them in your regular trash. And if you have any fireworks that did not go off, don't try to relight them. Soak those in water too before throwing them away. It's a simple step that can help prevent fires after the celebration is over.
A mom is raising awareness about the possible dangers with one of the most popular toys on the market right now. I'm Bethany on the King News Desk, and here's what we're learning. Her warning has already been shared more than 100,000 times on social media. Kimmy Staggs says her daughter Natalie was playing with the squishy toy after it had been left in a hot car when it burst, covering her legs in a hot, sticky-like filling that she says was like melted taffy. Doctors called poison control, but thankfully the filling wasn't toxic. Kimmy says Poison Control told her that this was the 5th or 6th similar case they'd heard about this in just 1 week. With warmer weather in Washington, it's a timely reminder to keep heat-sensitive toys out of parked vehicles.
FIFA tooting their own horn this World Cup. And if you were around for the World Cup in 2010 in South Africa, you remember this, the vuvuzela, arguably the sound of World Cup. Too loud, in fact. That's why FIFA banned it. Let's find out why. Not much to it. It is plastic. It is hollow. It's just lung power. Here's what it sounds like from 2 blocks away. Now here is the vuvuzela about 4 to 5 blocks away. Here's what she sounds like as far as I could walk away. Okay, after hearing this plastic horn almost a mile away, I must say, FIFA, you've got a point. And that's enough vuvuzela for the next 16 years. I'll just leave it here.
We challenged our area scouts is like, we know what's in the computer. Tell us something about the player and the person, how they're wired, what's the family like, what does baseball mean to them? And like a weird phrase, not weird phrase, but something I always say to guys, everybody loves the play, but tell me the kids that love the preparation that goes into playing. And then when you see kids like Cole and Colt who play all summer long, they do the national circuit, you know, they're just baseball rats that are just good baseball players and they come from good families and they just enjoy competing every day. those are the separators for us. We do a lot of home visits, we do a lot of digging with coaches, friends. I mean, the character part of this thing is something that I think has made us not a good scouting group, but maybe even a great scouting group, is because that's what we value really. It's not just the player, it's the person as well.
They are worried about the environmental impact, but also in terms of the prospects of job replacement. They are, and we all are, trying to find our place in a changing workforce. I would tell them that they should focus on their studies, do a good job, and find their niche. And as long as they have that niche and are open to retraining in their careers, I think they are probably going to be okay.
Now that World Cup matches have wrapped up in Seattle, it means Revive I-5 construction will restart. Here's what you need to know. There will be a full weekend closure from Friday, July 10th until Monday, July 13th. By 11:59 p.m. Friday, work crews will be out there setting up everything they need to put that work zone back in place so they can continue Revive I-5 work. That will last until at least 5 o'clock Monday morning. Again, that's July 10th through July 13th. I-5 northbound from I-90 to Northeast 45th Street will shut down. The express lanes will be northbound only 24 hours a day once everything is set back up. That's to alleviate any potential issues for northbound traffic once Revive I-5 starts up again. Revive I-5 work is expected to last through the end of this year, and there could be other lane closures and ramp closures, so stay with King 5 for those updates.
Today we're tackling the dumplings that somehow sneak a sip of soup in every bite. And joining me from Supreme Dumplings is V. No.
You're gonna get your dough roller here, and this is your block.
Okay. How did you press it down? Just with your hand?
Yeah, you just smush it down with your hand. You're gonna hold your dough in your left hand, just kind of on the side here.
Okay.
Yeah, great. And then you just apply pressure as you're going inwards with that claw grip. So you're going to apply pressure here, and then when you go back, not as much pressure, just kind of let it glide over it. You're gonna go ahead and get your spatula. You're gonna scoop up a dollop of meat here.
Oh, you have a lot, okay.
Yes.
Don't be shy.
And then you're gonna go ahead and press it on into the middle there.
Mine's so much littler, but it's a mini one, okay.
Yes, that is okay. And you kind of guide it into your right hand to pinch. So you're gonna use these two, your pointer and your thumb on your left hand, to push it here, and then just pinch.
Oh.
Super easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Yep,
easy peasy. This might take me the whole hour of doing this, but this is why I'm not gonna get hired anytime soon, but it's okay. It's gonna taste good.
My parents were business owners. Like, I get the concerns with like property crime and damaging and impacting your business. The problem is cameras are not security. Cameras are an auditing tool. They're a logging tool. They allow you to go back in time and try to like investigate what happened.
There was a building that was under construction and unoccupied. That may have been why the fire spread so quickly just within that structure and then jumped to the next building.
Thirteen-year-old Angela Meeker was last seen on July 7th of 1979. Police detectives say they have never given up hope.
On July 7th, 1979, Angela Meeker left her home in the south end of Tacoma to go to the Tacoma Mall to pick up a birthday card. She was never seen again.
She was 13, 2 days short of being 14 when she disappeared.
The neighborhood looks so much different.
A lot of memories for us.
Oh yeah, my whole childhood. I remember I gave her some money, and then she left to go to the mall to pick up a birthday card. She was supposed to be home for her birthday.
And it's been 45 years.
Well, I want to say over a year we kept those presents just sitting there.
If she was out there, she wouldn't have found some way to get home. And the only reason she's gone is she can't come home. There's some really sick people in this world.
The Seattle dog just had the best week of its life.
The best.
New York Times just named it the best regional dog. That's so cool. You brought something you reimagined at Tin Lizzie Lounge.
I did. I made our own little regional dog here. It is the Italian-American love letter to the Seattle dog. So we have an Italian sausage that is baked into a really high hydration focaccia. Got some really good olive oil in that focaccia. Here's some Calabrian chili caramelized onion. So you get the caramelized onions and then the little spice that you'd classically find on a Seattle dog.
Yum.
And
when can you get this too at the lounge?
Oh, you can get it during our happy hour 7 days a week from 3 to 5, and then on Fridays and Saturdays from 9 to 10. And then I'm sure as people start requesting it more, I will have it available on late nights.
The nice thing too is with World Cup, so many people are in town. They actually get to try our amazing, delicious Seattle dog. And you say that this is not going away, right?
Nope, this is going to be a mainstay. It's taken me a year of imagining this to get it on the menu, and now it is a permanent part.
Okay, and then how do you finish this baby off?
I will finish it with an herb melange. I'm going to put that on top of the ricotta cream cheese chev combination. So you're just getting, again, loads of flavor, but it hits all of those notes that a classic Seattle dog would get.
Cheers! You don't have to wait till late night. You could just eat it at 3.
Salud.
I was walking back past T-Mobile Park from Pioneer Square about 2 hours before that final match at Seattle Stadium, and I saw the backup to get into the Hatback and into Victory Hall stretched all the way around the corner and off into the distance on this end. But boy, the line out on the front side of the block just really, really long. It just seemed to keep going. I paused and looked inside. It looked pretty full already, but I continued on to find where the end of the line was, and it continued and past the team's jersey store there on the corner and keeps going, and then finally it got to the corner. I was sure it must end right around there, but nope, around the corner, off we went all the way down, almost to the street that goes into the tunnel. So really almost the entire block. Finally got to the end, and I'm looking at everybody standing there and wondering, wait, 2 hours out from the match, are they going to make it? I'm not sure. I hope they did, but they were pretty happy anyway, and that's actually what really counts.
We've been tracking multiple 911 calls this 4th of July weekend. Take a look at this house fire in Tacoma. The Tacoma Fire Department posted these photos on their social media, and they say the fire first started at this home on 24th Street Northeast at about 2 o'clock this morning. This is Northeast Tacoma near Federal Way. We're learning the fire started in the garage and spread to the rest of the home. It spread quickly, and crews were working to keep it from spreading to nearby homes. Thankfully, no one was injured. It's not clear yet what sparked the flames. We've reached out to different fire departments that were responding to several calls overnight to see if any of them were started by fireworks. When we learn more information, we'll share that with you.
Yeah. More than one?
All you're doing is replacing equipment that should have been replaced 5 years ago, and you're paying down your line of credit, hopefully, if your bank is still letting you bank with them, paying down principal on your farm debt. It's just, yeah, the economics are brutal.
Well, the 70s are back for this week and even into the weekend. If you're heading to any of our area beaches, just a reminder, the water temperature is still pretty chilly, especially across Puget Sound and maybe Alki Beach, where the water temperatures are in the mid to upper 50s. But look at these temperatures this weekend. We will be in the 70s. You'll likely run into a few extra clouds as we go throughout the day Saturday. But by Sunday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies. And by the way, the wave heights, if you're going to be swimming or maybe you're going to be kayaking, should be 2 feet or less both Saturday, Sunday, which is wonderful news. Our weather pattern will actually shift to warmer conditions as we get into next week. We'll likely be tracking the 80s that are coming back as we get into the second full week of July.
We have a pretty nice day going out there in Seattle, but it is not going to be the start of the July 4th holiday weekend that the Woodland Park Zoo had planned. That's because the zoo's closed this Friday, July 3rd, following a bomb threat. Spokesperson says the threat came in around 11 a.m. Friday. The Seattle Police Department was called and the grounds immediately evacuated. The spokesperson points out that numerous other zoos and aquariums have received similar threats that were determined to be false. However, the zoo says it's taking this threat very seriously. In May, for example, calls about bomb threats and active shooters shut down zoos around the country. So the Woodland Park Zoo is closed for Friday, and no word at this point about the rest of the holiday weekend and whether there will be normal operations at the zoo.
Wenatchee police are bringing back their flock cameras that read license plates. The department deactivated the system late last year over data privacy concerns. In a community notice posted online, police called the cameras a valuable tool for finding stolen vehicles and investigating crimes. The department did not say exactly when the cameras will be operational again.
The man convicted of killing a Thurston County couple and hiding their bodies has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. That's according to the Thurston County Sheriff. DeVito and Karen Koepp disappeared in 2023. Detectives say Timothy Burke was renting a garage on a property owned by the couple, and they were in the process of evicting him. Investigators say Burke hid their bodies near the property where he was living.
Happy Hour is one of the best hours in my opinion, and Tanaka Ramen has one of the best in Kirkland. What is this one I just tried?
This one is the Volcano Ramen. It's a tonkotsu base with shoyu base, and then it's made with thick noodles and a little chili, but it's not too spicy, right?
No, it's like a 2 out of 4 spice, not bad at all.
Yeah, medium spicy.
This was really interesting. This is for anyone that's vegan. Tell me about the noodles.
So the noodle is green, it's made with kale and spinach, and this one have no eggs in the noodle. So if people have egg allergies and vegetarians, vegans, this is the perfect.
I love that you have options for them. You also have a ton of izakaya out here, some appetizers. What are some of your favorites that are on the menu?
I love the gyoza. It's our all-time best sellers. We handmade it, every single one of them. So very good.
Done and done.
Yeah, and then also the oyster, fresh oyster. It's very interesting because the brown stuff is actually we make a jelly. So it has a flavor with shoyu, with a ponzu sauce, citrusy, and with a spicy daikon on top.
Okay, well, I think I see some sake. We're going to cheers there. Thank you.
At noon, the man accused of posing as a Seattle City Light employee while stealing copper wire from the West Seattle Bridge failed to appear for his arraignment in King County Court this morning. Investigators say the 47-year-old man told police that he was repairing bridge lights but didn't have city identification. Police say he had heavy-duty wire cutters and other tools on him. He was booked on several charges, including theft and criminal impersonation. The court issued a $5,000 bench warrant to compel him to appear before a judge.
Plays off for the left foot of Ginny Lackey. It's in! Ginny Lackey has scored the biggest goal in club history.
History in motion with the World's Game on full display.
I think Salmon Bay and just the World Cup has shown everyone how beautiful the game is.
The beautiful game on the rise in the Emerald City. Salmon Bay FC, a second-year semi-pro women's club, just clinched the USLW League Northwest Division title.
Very proud to call this my home city.
In the net, Elena Milam, a Ballard High product, part of a roster filled with local talent.
Just so cool to see how much the game has grown in this city.
As World Cup buzz builds, with the U.S. men here Monday and ticket prices soaring, this is a chance to see high-level soccer at a fraction of the cost.
Our environment is passionate, positive, and contagious.
World Cup seats in the nosebleeds, try $2,000. Salmon Bay's playoff match Friday, $20.
It's really exciting to, one, see that, even with men's soccer and the World Cup being here in the States, that they're still showing up for games for us.
For these players, the next level is the dream, and one day the World Cup. But right now, the focus is simple: lift a national trophy for their hometown.
World Cup would be amazing. That would obviously be a dream come true, but I have a very long way to go for that.
250 people here at Seattle Center are becoming new citizens on one of the most symbolic dates our country has seen. New Americans took the oath of allegiance after years of paperwork, interviews, and background checks. Seattle leaders say moments like this reflect the city's identity after the Supreme Court weighed in on birthright citizenship earlier this week, a mention that drew applause from the new citizens, their friends, and their families here. For these 250 new Americans, this is a 4th of July they'll always remember.
What's your favorite thing about Malcolm Connor?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I just say his presence and his just character. This is his work mode, but when you see him off work mode, that's when you know he's still a puppy.
This is Malcolm, a 2.5-year-old canine companion. He was matched with Connor, who you just saw on your screen, last November. Every year on Independence Day, Canine Companions likes to remind people that independence is celebrated in many ways. For Connor, who was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder after serving 6 years in the U.S. Coast Guard, Malcolm makes that possible. And this is where Malcolm started. Every year, hundreds of puppy raisers are needed so that they can train puppies to eventually become canine companions. When you help raise a puppy, Canine Companions can match a service dog free of charge to people like Connor, other veterans as well, who are maybe struggling with severe anxiety in public crowds. Connor was kept up from nightmares and felt a constant fear that something bad would happen to him or his loved ones. Since being matched with Malcolm, Connor says he's able to go out in public and be grounded by Malcolm's presence.
In spring, everybody was talking about Cade and how advanced he was and how thrilled they were to get him at number 3. And they're like, yeah, maybe there's a chance that he'll come up this year. But now it's just inevitable, right? I mean, what he's done on a historic level in AA, you look at the numbers, and Jerry said some of them. I was talking to Justin Toole, the director of player development for the Mariners in Cleveland, and he said this is probably the best season that he's ever seen. This could be the best season in the history of the minor leagues. So at some point, you're going to have to move him, right? You just can't let him continue to dominate, even though they do like to develop him in that pitcher's ballpark there in Arkansas, as Jerry was saying. It really kind of mimics T-Mobile Park, the settings and how well it pitches as a pitcher's park. So they kind of like him to develop there. But yeah, you heard Jerry. At some point, maybe Tacoma, maybe here, maybe before September. Super high on this guy with obvious reasons. And yes, he will definitely be part of the Mariners at some point this season, which is really exciting, I think, for everybody, because what he's doing is just, never been done before.